I'm here. I'm locked in. You ready?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Why have you worn that?
No reason.
Yeah, but why? Yeah, but why have you worn that though?
No reason.
But why have you worn it? Yeah, but why? Is that the one I got you?
Yep.
But why have you worn it though?
Why not?
Yeah, but why?
Why not?
I can't even see the McLaren because that's how good it would be here, and I wouldn't be able to see it. Yeah, what you need to do is can't be bringing that podcast room. Honestly, it's graceful.
I mean, you wore a Ferrari shirt a few weeks ago.
And when was the last time we were champions? That's like wearing the loser's shirt. That's like turning up to the World Cup, end of the World Cup celebration party in a Cape Verde top. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Well done you for supporting Cape Verde. I've already made one dicey joke this morning. I'm worried I'll make another one.
If you'd asked me about 6 races ago, I would have given Mark significantly lower. But after his multiple race
You
wins...
missed one race!
Not...
What is wrong with you? Why do you hate him so much?
I don't hate him.
You do. You've got such a chip on your shoulder about Marc Marquez. It's unreal. Hello everybody, welcome back to Ahead at the Apex. I'm your host Josh, and today once again I'm joined by Jake. Say hi, Jake.
Hello, everyone.
Which obviously means we've got the soundboard back. Just move it a little bit closer so I can hit that button a bit more better. English, tough. Today and next week we are doing our mid-season rider rankings. Woo! I love how the desk makes the noise as well because I'm hitting the button that hard. Like I could just push it, but I'm always like, you can always hear the bass. You're always like, as I'm smacking the button. Yeah. So. It's Silverstone this weekend as of date of recording. It's the 4th of August, 2026. We've just had, is this officially the summer break or is this like a weird gap that happened in the calendar? Because there's also a weird gap like after Silverstone, right?
Well, there was all those Middle Eastern races that ended
all
up
those
postponing.
Middle Eastern, you mean Qatar?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well done, Jake. No, there is. There's like, the last race was the 10th of July. This must be the summer break, but then there is another 3-week gap because Aragon isn't until the 28th of August. But Qatar should have already been. Right? Qatar should have been after Texas, but before Spain, because there was like a month off there.
Yeah, I mean, they posted yesterday that summer break had finished, so I'm assuming that...
Yeah, so this has been the summer break.
Yeah.
So we are still technically on time, but by the time you guys hear part 2, we will have already had Silverstone. In fact, no, because by the time they hear this, we'll be nearly ready for Aragon.
Yeah.
Because there's an episode coming out this week that I recorded with Tim. Then there's another episode coming out next week that I recorded with Tim. And then it's this.
Yeah.
And then it's the next part of this. And then it's the F1 ones that we're doing next week, which you're now invited to because Tim can't make it. So if you want to come to the F1 one, it's in the evening next week. I'll send you a link.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so, man, we are so far ahead. I like it. We're so far ahead, which is crazy to think because, like, we are a motorsport podcast. So in reality, what we should do is get together after every single race and make comments. That's what most people do. But that's not what we do. No. Right here, we are so far ahead at the apex. It's untrue. Right. We also have some questions this week from the audience. And if you want to get involved with that, you have to get in touch with us via our social channels. The best way to get in touch with us is to head over to our Patreon, AAT Apex, and become a member. It's completely free, and you can get involved with our From Our Perspective series, as well as race chats. And you can, of course, send us your questions for every podcast recording session, which, as you've just heard, we are quite far ahead. Alternatively, you can get in touch with us via Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter using the handle at AAT Apex. And finally, why not leave us a review and a comment on Spotify or wherever you like to get our podcasts? We're not saying you actually have to like the podcast, just please leave us a 5-star review because that's how the algorithm works, and that would be great. We need to get out to more people. You can also find the podcast on YouTube, Amazon Music, Castbox, and various other places such as Deezer, but you cannot find us on Apple Podcasts because who's in charge of Apple these days? Tim Cook.
He's leaving or left at this point.
Well, all right. Tim Cook sucks. There you go.
Yeah.
With that, let's get on with the podcast. And it's our mid-season rider rankings. So here's how this is going to work. If you didn't tune in last year for our mid-season rider rankings, where were you? And also, if you are new to the show, let me explain how this works. So in front of me, I have a list of all of the riders in MotoGP who have competed this year, including the 6 wildcard / replacement riders. Each one of those I have assigned a number to. That number is out of 10. Last year we allowed decimal places, so this year I'm allowing decimal places.
Yeah, was that Tim that did that? Or was that?
That was you.
Was it me? Okay.
You came in and you were like, maybe a 4.5. And I'm like, what? That was Marc Marquez. No, you get Mark a 4.
Yeah.
Anyway, for the second half of the season, it's so wild. You won the World Championship and you were like, yeah, I'll give him a 4. I think a 4 is fair. No. Each rider gets given a number out of 10. Then that calculates an average per team, and that each. So Jake and I will give our numbers. So each rider will get a number from Jake and me. Then they will get an average from Jake and me for the first half of the season. Those numbers will be used to calculate a team average for Jake and me, and then an average for both of us. And then those team numbers will be used to calculate a manufacturer average. Okay? The manufacturer is based on with the engine and the bike that they're running. So all fairly straightforward. Right. So we are going to go down this list in order, in team order. Okay, so quick briefing of the season so far. We seem to have a bit of a title triangle. So we have Jorge Martin leading the championship on 208 points, holding a 14-point championship lead over Ayagura. Who'd have thought we'd be saying that at the start of the season? And of course, you can never discount Marc Marquez, who has wormed his way into third in the championship, 4 points behind Ayagura with 190 points. Where's Marco Bezzecchi, I hear you ask, Jake? Well, he has had a bit of a
nightmare.
Like, I think he's just genuinely trying to throw away the championship. So
maybe he put a bet on like someone else and just decided that he wants to win the bet.
Yeah, so Hungary crashed into by his teammate.
Yep.
As were most of the Aprilias.
Yep.
The Czech Republic, he was slapped to marshal during the sprint Grand Prix when he crashed. And then, the sprint race when he crashed, was banned from the main Grand Prix. At the Dutch Grand Prix, the Assen TT, he came off his bike at the high speed last final sector, a huge crash, lucky to escape injury. And then at the subsequent Grand Prix in Germany, he comes off during Q2 and he has fractured his collarbone. Now, fortunately, he did that with a 3-week gap to come afterwards. So I believe he will be racing in Silverstone. Have we had that confirmed?
I don't think we have. I mentioned earlier that obviously we had a 3-week summer break, Silverstone, in another few weeks.
Yeah.
So I think you don't want to be like, thank God he got injured now. But it's better to get injured at this point.
Yeah, but like Silverstone is their best chance until San Marino, because Aragon is going to go Marc Marquez.
Yeah.
Instagram told me, there's somebody on Instagram told me we were wrong with our predictions. So anyway, so not 100% whether Bez will be back. Meanwhile, Marc Marquez has won 3 Grand Prix out of the last 4. So Hungary, Czech Republic and Germany, and has slashed his deficit to 18 points. Jorge Martin, despite only winning 1 race so far this year and serving a double long lap in the Czech Republic, still managed to claim points back on his teammate because his teammate has decided to throw it all away. Quick summary of the top 8. Jorge Martin, Ayagura, Marc Marquez, Marco Bezzecchi, Fabio Di Gianantonio, Raul Fernandez, Pedro Costa and Francesco Bagnaia. All of the top 9 have won something.
Yep.
So the 10th downwards haven't. All right, you ready?
Yep, ready to go.
Swipe. Aprilia Racing. Jake, the qualifying head-to-head. Bez, 7. Martin, 3. Quite sure how that works. There's been 11 races. Oh, Bez didn't take part in quali in the Saxon ring because he withdrew. That's how that works. Bez has had arguably more speed than Martin.
Yep.
He's also had 4 Grand Prix wins and 2 poles. He also took, if I can just get my table, he's also taken a couple of sprints. He hasn't taken any sprints. Oh.
No, I think I think they have mentioned a few times that Bez's successes has been on the Sunday rather than the Saturday.
Yeah.
And I kind of agree. Obviously, he's had his moments, mainly Slapgate. But I think with his injury, I think that will affect his year. And I think Martin will start to come back at him properly in the qualifying head-to-head.
Right. Well, that's one of the questions we have. So the question says, has Aprilia built the best bike on the grid, or did Bez's injury just open the door for Marquez and Agura? Yeah.
I think it opens the door for Mark, but not Agura.
What do you mean? Agura's second. Why is my voice so high?
I don't know.
Agura's second. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
What are you talking about?
How many of Mark's wins that he's had on the Sunday have been, have followed a sprint win?
Only 2.
Whereas,
but he's got 4 sprint wins.
Yes. Do I think Agura is probably going to push Aprilia Factory? Yes. Do I think that Aprilia Factory will start to play games?
What kind of games?
I don't know. Maybe
what kind of games might you be talking about?
Well, the factory's on Aprilia, and they'll rather a factory win.
I don't think Aprilia are going to do anything about that. I hope they don't.
I hope they don't either, but anyway, I have a feeling.
First of all, have Aprilia built the best bike on the grid? Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
So the story really at Aprilia is, how are they not 1-2 in the standings by some country mile? Yeah. And realistically, it's because Martin has only won 1 race, if that's even possible to comprehend. The guy leading the World Championship has only won 1 race. And 2 sprints?
I think 2 sprints.
2 sprints.
Yeah.
But he has been ultra consistent point scoring wise.
Podiums pretty much.
Podiums all the time.
Yeah.
And Bez has decided to spend the last 4 or 5 races just chucking his championship away.
Maybe he's sponsored by a gravel company and he just gets paid extra for putting his bike on the gravel.
Don't know, man. But the last time Bez won a race was Mugello.
Yeah, that's a while ago.
That's a while ago. So yes, Bez has opened the door for this competition, and thank God for it. Right. Numbers, hit me. Bez.
I think a 6.
Have you not written this down? You're normally so organized.
I have written them down just in my head.
Excuse me?
I think a 6. I think Slapgate kind of affects if you exclude that, I would give him an 8, but just because he is obviously at the time he was leading the championship. I'm always a big fan of someone that
you're knocking
shows
him 2 points for Slapgate.
Yes.
That's insane.
Shows an example of what a good sportsman should do, and that just isn't a good example in my opinion.
Insane. Okay, Martin.
One race win. Can I give him an 8? I think I'll give him an 8.
Okay.
Leading the title.
Okay. So for Bez, I gave him an 8 because he's won 4 races, the most of anybody on the grid this year so far. But the reason I've knocked him down to is because he's thrown away like 5 races.
Yeah.
For Jorge Martin, I've given him an 8.5 because while he hasn't won as many races, he also hasn't thrown away as many races. But I haven't given them like 9s or 10s because they're on the best bike in MotoGP.
They're on the best bike in MotoGP and they're not dominating every single race. I think that's clear.
So that gives Bez an average of 7 and Martin an average of 8.3. That rounds. We only round to 1 decimal place.
Yep.
Which also gives Aprilia an average from me of... that isn't right. My numbers, Jake, they're not right.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's because it's included Lorenzo Savadori. Okay. Let's do Lorenzo Savadori. I gave him a 1 because he's only competed in 1 race and it was terrible. Okay. So that gives Aprilia Racing a 5.8 from me and a 5 from Jake and a 5.4 average. Okay. Trackhouse Aprilia. So qualifying head to head. Raul Fernandez 6, Ayagura 5. Fairly even.
Yep.
Extremely close on single lap pace. Fernandez edged Agura in single lap speed 6 times, but Agura has been far sharper in a Sunday racecraft. That's true. Leading Trackhouse to a 1-2 finish in Assen. Trackhouse locking out the front rows alongside Factory Aprilia highlights their current bike superiority. So we had the All Aprilia podium in Le Mans.
Yep.
We also had the All Aprilia podium in Assen.
Yep.
Was it an All Aprilia podium in the sprint? I know it was a Trackhouse double 1-2 that weekend. Who finished 3rd in the sprint? Did you?
Might have been.
Dutch GP Sprint 2026 results. Did you?
Yeah.
I realize I'm doing that. Most people listen to our podcast on audio. So I'm doing this.
No one will ever know.
Nobody will ever know. Except when the clips come out in a few weeks' time on Instagram, people tell me I'm wrong.
Yep.
Okay. So fairly close. Trackhouse have looked like the best Aprilia team, not gonna lie. Do you think they're genuine threats this year? We had this a couple of weeks ago when we were predicting who was going to win the title, but you clearly think not because you were like, I think Factory Aprilia are going to play some games.
I'm hoping Factory Aprilia don't play fairly.
Why would they not play fairly? Oh, that's right, because they've only got 1 shot at this. They should do papaya rules.
Sure. Okay.
Sorry, every time I mention papaya rules, I have to do that.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Okay. I before Bezzecchi obviously had his injury, I think no. But because it's only Martin left at the moment, and because of their sort of form recently, back-to-back podiums, obviously finishing, I think they finished in the top 5 for most of the last few races. Yes, I do think they're possibly pushing a title. I don't think one of the riders will, though.
Okay.
I just think if Bezzecchi doesn't come back and absolutely blast it to multiple race wins, I don't think Aprilia are going to get a shot at the title, but I do think they'll get in the way.
Okay.
They'll beat Martin or they'll beat Mark or they'll beat Bez to a podium and they'll if touch wood, hoping that Factory Aprilia don't start to play games and be like, well, you have to let us by kind of thing. I do think they'll get in the way and they'll cause issues for Bez or Martin or Mark or whoever is fighting for the title at that point. But I do think Ayagura is the better rider overall. But Raul seems to just be that little bit faster on the Saturday.
Yeah, okay.
But it's Agura's got this magical thing of late race pace that seems to just come out of nowhere.
Sorry, I was just trying to figure out how to scale Savadori because I looked it up. He took part in the Spanish Grand Prix at Jerez.
Yeah.
He qualified in 20th. Heavy crash on Saturday that wasn't his fault. It was Toprak's fault. Withdrew on Sunday due to lingering physical soreness from the spinal crash. I was just figuring out, because we both gave him a 1, whether I could multiply that, because it just drags Aprilia down into the 5s when we've given their main riders 8s and 6s. I could times it by... He's competed in 1/10 of the races.
I mean, you can't times it by 10, can you? That would give him a 10.
I could times it by 5.
Sure, why not?
All right, so we give Savadori a 5. That's just easier. 7.2, 6.3, 6.8 for Aprilia. That's more like it. Okay. Right, give me your numbers. For Raul Fernandez, here's how I've broken it down. I think Agura's been better than Fernandez. And I think Agura's been better in the race, which is where it counts. But his qualifying has been poor.
Yep.
So I averaged them both at a 9. And then I was like, 8.5 for Fernandez, 9.5 for Agura. Because I think they've both been better than both of the factory Aprilia riders.
Oh, God, yeah. Kind of agree with you. I think 8.5 and then 9 for Agura.
Okay.
But obviously, we'll find out how they perform for the rest of the season. But it's looking pretty good for them right now.
Yeah, so, excuse me. So that brings Raul Fernandez to 8.5, obviously, and Ayagura to 9.3, which takes Trackhouse to 8.8, and an average of 8.9 from both of us, which brings Aprilia to an 8.1 from me, a 7.5 from Jake, and a 7.8 average. Okay. Now here's where it gets a bit weird, because obviously Ducati have way more riders than Aprilia have, so the averages are going to get a bit skewed here. Starting with the factory Ducati team, Marc Marquez out-qualifies Francesco Bagnaia 6.5. I do think that one of those is the time that Marc was not in qualifying.
Yep.
Which would have been Barcelona. We already had this discussion. Marc leads the head-to-head with 3 pole positions. Bagnaia's season has been torpedoed by 4 Sunday DNFs. Meanwhile, Marquez cleanly outdueled Pecco head-to-head in Brno to take victory. Question: can Pecco recover this 18-point internal gap to Marc, or is Ducati officially focusing on Marc Marquez this year? I don't even think that's worth speculating over. Why would they focus on Pecco? Pecco is A, leaving the team, and B, nowhere.
Yeah, so. I think they're obviously, Pecco is a 2-time world champion there, multiple race winner with Ducati.
He's no longer the most successful Ducati rider, though.
No. But the thing is, they made their, as a team, as a company, they made their opinion on him very clear.
Yeah.
And I think I just got to be like, yep, fine. He's not really in contention with Marc. He's not really their focus. They've moved on. Obviously, they've signed the Costa for next year, so I think it's fully...
What? No way.
Shocker. I think it's very much the case that Pecco won't catch Marc. I think the test for Pecco to kind of give him a little bit of confidence going into Aprilia next year, how big is that gap? Is that gap 18 points? Is it 50 points? Is it 100 points? Or magically, probably a Mark injury, does Pecco beat him? I think it's kind of the case of how much is he behind rather than the case of can he close the gap?
Yeah, I don't see Pecco. I don't see Pecco making it this year. I actually don't see Pecco winning another thing this year.
I think maybe a sprint.
You want to prove me wrong, win every race at the end of the season now, but
maybe a sprint, but I don't think he's going to particularly catch anyone. I don't think he's going to particularly dominate. I think he might get a pole here and there, but I really don't think he's going to get maybe a podium, but I don't think he's going to get a race win of any kind.
Okay, so give me your numbers then, Chief.
If you'd asked me about 6 races ago, I would have given Mark significantly lower. But after his multiple race wins...
He missed one race!
Not...
What is wrong with you? Why do you hate him so much?
I don't hate him.
You do. You've got such a chip on your shoulder about Marc Marquez. It's unreal. It's unreal. Why do you hate him so much?
I don't hate him.
Answer the question.
Because he left Honda. It's... If you'd asked me before he did all his race wins, I would have probably given him a 6.
Yeah.
Just because I hadn't seen anything particularly magic from the defending world champion. I think now it's a 9. Multiple race wins, back to back.
I was about to change your voice to the silly voice because you were talking.
Go for it.
You were probably going to give him a 4. And I was going to be like, a 9.
A 9.
That's what I gave him too, because I honestly think to come back in Mugello, take points where it was needed, and then win 3 out of the 4 races we've had since then is unbelievable.
Yeah.
After that injury and after that surgery, and to now be 3rd in the championship. Yeah, it's crazy. Bagnaia, on the other hand, I've given a 5.5. Because how is he behind Mark? How? Because like you say, Mark has only won sprints in the first half. Mark has taken 4 sprints, 2 of them in the first half of the first half. So I think it was Brazil and Jerez. And that was it. And it was looking a bit for Marc Marquez. Yeah. And then how is Bagnaia so far behind him? I know 18 points, but 18 points is how far Mark is from the front of the fight.
Yep.
And how is Bagnaia, 3 wins, 4 sprint wins for Mark.
And it's not like it's a slow bike either.
Bagnaia's got 4 DNFs.
Yeah.
And 1 sprint win.
Yeah.
How is Bagnaia also behind Digio in the standings? I'm just kind of embarrassed.
Yeah, I think Bagnaia's got to be. It can't be any more than a 6. I'm going to give him 5.
How did you have more race wins?
Yeah.
Anyway, for Bagnaia, I gave a 5.5. What did you give?
5.
A 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so that takes Bagnaia's average to 5.3 and Mark's to 9, which gives us an average for Ducati at 6.3 for me, 7 for Jake, and a 6.6 overall. Hold on just a second, because that's counted. Why is that counted? Michele Pirro didn't compete. I'm silly. My table was set up for last year. I just copied and pasted, which obviously last year they had wildcard riders.
Yep.
Because Mark got injured, but this year,
nope.
No. So 7.3 for me, for Ducati, 7 for Jake, 7.1 in total. Okay. Gresini. Tough season for Gresini. Alex Marquez has spent a lot of time off bike injured, and so has, Firmin Aldeguer. Was he back at the first race? No. He missed the first couple of races, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because of his broken femur.
And he's taken time off again, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He wasn't at, was it Sachsenring? When they had that special livery?
Just because he had a crash in quali, didn't he?
Yeah.
Firmin Aldeguer health status. Currently sidelined and will miss the upcoming British Grand Prix at Silverstone as he recovers from a fractured T7 vertebrae and a previous leg injury. Vertebrae during heavy practice crash at the Dutch TT in Assen. Cleared to resume physical training starting August 15th. So, next week.
Yeah.
Dealt with lingering pain from a left femur fracture sustained during winter training in January 26. So, it's been a tough year for Grazzini. Which reminds me, I need to then calculate that. So, they have C26 and C27. And that has D26. Live podcast editing, folks. There you go. That's how it works. Okay. So Alex Marquez currently sits 9th in the standings. He is what I would call best of the rest with 87 points. He took one win in Jerez and one sprint win in Barcelona. That takes so long. They were both in Spain. I knew they were both in Spain. Meanwhile, Fermin Alligator weirdly sits 11th in the standings, just 11 points back after having taken some serious points in the restarted Catalonia Grand Prix.
Yep.
And then big crash at the Dutch Grand Prix. Okay. Head-to-head wise. Qualifying head-to-head, where are we? Alex Marquez 6, Fermin Alligator 4. That's unsurprising, given that Alex has taken part in more races whilst at peak fitness than Fermin Alligator. So Alex, as soon as the Spanish flags are out and they're on Spanish soil, seems to turn into an absolute machine.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Aldeguer has shown flashes of speed in Hungary and in Catalonia, for instance, but has spent most of the year injured. So I did take that into account. Also, Alex Marquez has come back after a big injury as well, after that horrendous crash at the Catalonia Grand Prix. Yeah, I don't have much to say about these boys, I'm afraid, because
we've not really seen them much.
They're not making much appearance on TV. Alex did crash at the German Grand Prix. Yeah. That was bad.
In a nice livery.
And he was second. That would have been some good points. That would have been maybe enough points to bring him sort of into the conversation of like, oh, well, he's only a few points behind Bagnaia now. What is the gap? The gap is
30 something, isn't it?
60.
Yeah.
56 points.
Yeah.
So it would have been enough to be like, oh, maybe Alex can just, nab Bagnaia or nab Acosta here. But now I think the gap is too big and the confidence is just not there. So I gave both of them a 6.5. Because I think when they've been on the bike, they've been good. They haven't spent a lot of time on the bike because of injuries. Apart from Alex's injury, some of those injuries have been, I don't want to say self-inflicted, but if you crash by yourself, it's a self-inflicted injury in my eyes.
Yeah.
Because you were pushing too hard. But Alex's crash was because he literally was right up Acosta's bottom.
And his bike
and then Acosta's bike decided it didn't want to be a bike anymore, and Alex had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
That's not really Alex's fault. There was nothing Alex could do about that.
I mean, it's not really Acosta's fault either. Just
no. I mean, it's KTM's fault.
I mean, KTM aren't the best right now, but yeah.
So yeah, 6.5 for both of them because I just think there's definitely more there. It's just that neither one of them is going to get to show it this year, and also neither one of them is going to be there next year.
It's kind of they're not really going to get a consistent run at peak fitness until at the end of the year.
No.
And yes, it feels wrong giving them such a low score in comparison to what they've been like on the bike. They've been really good on the bike. But you kind of have to take the fact that they're not involved in these races at times into account. So I don't want to give Aldeguer anything lower than a 5, but I kind of have to give him a 5.
Okay. He's going to be at VR46 next year. I'm dead certain.
Yeah, definitely. But I'd have to give Alex maybe a 6.
Okay.
I think he's just because he's been on the bike more doesn't
It's
necessarily
just
mean
every
he's
time he's
better.
in Spain, just suddenly becomes an absolute
Yeah.
10 out of 10, and I just cannot figure him out. He's going to KTM next year, obviously, alongside Digia, who we will talk about next. So Alex Marquez gets a 6.3 and Fermin Aldeguer 5.8 from us. Let's quickly talk about Michele Pirro and Iker Lecuona, both of whom have stepped in for Aldeguer and Alex over the couple of races. Brief summary. So Michele Pirro, he took over for Gresini for the race immediately after Barcelona, which was Mugello. Didn't really do much. So didn't really do much of anything at all. So I've given him a 2 for standing in, but for not really doing much.
Fair, same. Yeah.
Okay. Iker Lecuona, however, what an absolute superstar he turned out to be. So he is full-time World Superbike rider, unlike Pirro, who is the factory sort of
Reserve really.
/ testing rider. He was drafted in. He replaced Alex Marquez at the Hungarian Grand Prix, where he put on a spectacular Sunday performance to finish 7th, matching his second best Premier Class finish and securing 9 championship points. He's also finishing second every week to Nicola Bulliger in World Superbikes. So I think he's had an absolutely top performance, and I gave him an 8.5 because I think he's actually been better than the regular Gresini riders.
I'm not sure
to
how
jump on that bike and put it in 7th on a random weekend and then just fade into nothingness again when Alex comes back is crazy.
I don't know how old he is in terms of like, could he take a seat from someone?
Iker Lecuona. Why is the first thing that comes up on Google Iker Lecuona wife?
Interesting, Google.
Who's searching for Iker Lecuona's wife? He's 26.
So in theory, he could take a seat from someone.
Yeah.
Could a Ducati team?
Yeah, but we think Bulliger's coming across the VR46.
Possibly.
Which means Iker's probably going to stay in World Superbikes and win everything next year.
Yeah.
Unless Franco Morbidelli turns out to be the best World Superbike rider ever.
Are you high?
He could.
Have you seen the head-to-head?
He could. Franco Morbidelli could be an absolute weapon.
Okay.
You don't know. You don't know, man. You don't know what's inside Franco Morbidelli's bike.
Currently nothing.
Come on, give me a rating for Iker Lecuona so I can stop saying their name because I'm close to messing it up.
The name is just fantastic, though.
Iker Lecuona.
Yeah, it's just great. I do think an 8 is kind of justified, and the name that helps a little bit. It's
I'm
quite
sure
a nice
I'm
name.
mispronouncing it because he's Spanish, so it's probably like Iker Lecuona.
Yeah.
Lecuona.
But yeah, I think an 8 is justified.
From Valencia. An 8.
Yeah, just the ability to snap between 2 different bikes and 2 different series.
Yeah, on the off week between 2 World Superbike races as well. It's just insane.
Get points.
Yeah.
Perform really well.
Man, we don't move enough. This never happens when I'm with Tim. We do not move enough. The lights have just gone out. For audio listeners, the lights in here are on an automatic sensor, which is very good for the environment because obviously it means there's now 2 electrical devices running instead of 1. You know, there could just be a switch on the outside of the door. So if anybody walks past and notices that the lights are on, they can turn them off. But who knows?
Yeah.
Right. So Michele Pirro gets a 2 from us and Iker Lecuona gets an 8.3 from us on average, which takes Gresini to a 5.8 from me and a 5.3 from you and a 5.5 overall. They are our lowest so far, but I suspect things are going to get much worse. Okay. Last one, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
God damn it.
Yeah, because if we do this, then that's 6, and then there's 6 left. So this is the last one for this week. This will also give us our Ducati rating, so that makes sense to do that. The last one is Pertamina Enduro VR46 Ducati. How did I do?
Pretty good. I mean, I don't speak Italian, but it sounded right.
Thank you. Thank you. So, who have we got at Pertamina Enduro VR46 Ducati? We have Fabio Di Gianantonio and Franco Morbidelli.
I have to get.
Steady on. Steady on now. Steady on there. Jake, what's the qualifying head-to-head between Fabio Di Gianantonio and Franco Morbidelli?
Well, currently...
Why do you always just
eat the microphone? Oh. Currently, Franco... Not Franco.
Fabio
Di Gianantonio is in double digits.
Yeah, but it's not as good as Pedro Acosta.
No, it's not. But there's not many that are on this grid that are in double digits in terms of head-to-head over the teammate. And, you know, before Fabio's recent kind of a little drop in form.
Oh, you had one crash. Give the kid a break.
Kid, he ain't a kid, mate.
When was the last time you rode a motorbike?
Never.
Oh, I rode one this morning.
He was in the sort of title conversation.
Yep. He is in the title conversation. He's fourth.
Yeah, he was more in the title conversation a few races ago.
Oh, no, he's fifth. Sorry. Marco Bezzecchi's fourth.
Right.
2 points.
Yeah. I think it is just pure domination for Fabio. I don't know. Fabio. I think Franco is generally, I think he just wants out.
Franco?
Yeah.
I don't think Franco wants out. I think Rossi wants Franco out. The thing I have to ask, right, is that we actually don't know what this bike is like, right? So who's on the 2026 bike?
The GP26.
Yeah. The Desmo Sadiki GP26.
I think factory.
So we got Francesco Bagnaia, Marc Marquez, Alex Marquez, Fabio Di Gianantonio. Yeah, okay. So the GP25 we know was a handful. But the GP24 was perhaps the best bike MotoGP has ever seen. And Franco was on it last year. And Fabio wasn't. Fabio was on the GP25, which we know was a bit of a handful. And the GP26 we know is better than the GP25, but nowhere near as good as the GP24. And Franco's on the GP25 and Fabio's on the GP26. So yes, I would expect Fabio to be doing better this year, but not last year. And yet Fabio did better than him last year. And the question you have to ask yourself is, how can you have one bike that is capable of winning races and getting pole positions, and the other bike is not able to get out of Q1 and spends half of the time at the back of the field before crashing out trying to overtake Fabio Quartararo?
Yep.
That's the real question you've got to ask yourself, is how can that be a normal situation that you wake up every race day thinking, oh yeah, we might win this race. We also might finish last.
We might just bookend the grid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, Franco gets a 3 because he's clearly, occasionally there's been some pace there.
You got to remember that bike that he's on, the GP25, won the title.
No. Marc Marquez won the title.
On the bike.
On that bike. Yeah, but Marc Marquez could win the MotoGP World Championship on my bike.
Fair. But it should be doing better in someone that experienced.
All right, you're right. All right, you've convinced me. I'm going to scale him down to a 2.
Like,
I've got nobody else at a 3 anyway. Oh, yes, I have. Yes, I have.
It's kind of the case of he should be doing better, Franco.
Yeah.
Even if you exclude Fabio from the conversation and you put anyone else, he should generally just be doing better on that bike. It's not the slowest bike on the grid. He should be easily able to overtake Yamahas and KTMs and all the other bikes on the grid. He doesn't.
Yeah.
So I think a 2 is pretty standard.
Is that what you've given him?
Yeah.
Okay. And I gave Fabio Di Gianantonio an 8.5. Which is the same that I've given Jorge Martin, who is currently leading the World Championship. And the reason I've given him that is because, he won in Barcelona when it was absolutely insane, kept his head, showered in debris, made it back.
He hit it with a wheel.
Probably shouldn't have been racing, but still did and still won the race.
Yeah.
Very impressive. But also, until Mark got his groove back, he was the top Ducati rider for the entire season, so up until very recently. But on top of that, not only has he been the top Ducati, but he raced Marc Marquez hard in the first 4 races. He's also been bulletproof consistency, apart from in Saxon Ring where some weird aero business happened, which I don't think was his fault.
I think he switched aero, didn't he? He switched to the 26.
He switched to the 26 aero, but we saw it with Bez. Right? As soon as you get behind a bike, your aero profile changes.
Yeah,
right. This is why Johan Zarco is still in bed. Right, is because of this aero effect. So I just don't think that was his fault, and I don't think I can punish. I don't feel good punishing him on these ratings because of that one incident.
Yeah,
but I also think that there's room there for like. He probably should have taken the victory in Brazil off Mark, and he probably should have he should have done better in Kota, and he definitely he probably should have been better in it's completely gone from my head. Where did we go? San Marino. Yeah. Not San Marino, Jerez. San Marino is after Silverstone. It just hasn't. But I still think actually that he can win this. I do. I think that he is firmly part of the 4 riders who are still in this fight. And I'm discounting Bez from those 4 riders, right?
Yeah.
So, Jake, what did you give him?
I gave him an 8. I think he's had a really good season, very good in qualifying, good in the race, just not quite as good as he could be. There's moments where I'm thinking, you're in a Ducati, you can get past this, you could be going faster, you could be doing this, and not really evidence of Mark. You know, when I look at Fabio, I kind of take Mark out of the picture, just because Mark is Mark. He is very clearly the best Ducati rider, excluding Mark, this full season so far. But at the start of the year, he was the best Ducati rider by quite a mile. And obviously, you can go, he's in a different team, blah, 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 but he's still on the same bike. He's on the same bike, different aero package, but same bike. And there's been instances where it's like, why have you not won the title? Why are you not in a factory team yet? Why are you not? And
well, he's going to be in a factory team next year.
He is. And it's kind of like,
but that's KTM.
Yeah, there's lots of could have beens for Fabio this year. He could have won more races, got more podiums, got more sprints, and that's kind of why I rated him a little bit lower.
Yeah.
I think if you just take the first few races, it'd be a 9. I think he's one of the best in that period. But I think with Mark coming back into it, he's kind of dropped down the roster a little bit. Not too much, but I think his consistency has been good, but it has started to drop a little bit. But I don't know whether that's because Mark has stepped up the game a little bit.
I think so, but I think Fabio can go with him.
Yeah.
Right, so we have reached the halfway point, young man. And we did that within 52 minutes, which, given that you spent 25 minutes talking about Alpine last year, that's pretty good. So just a quick run through of the scores. So Bez, 8 for me, 6 for Jake, 7 average. Martin, 8.5 for me, 8 for Jake, 8.3 average. Fernandez, 8.5, 8.5, 8.5. Ayagura, 9.5 for me, 9 for Jake, 9.3 average. Francesco Bagnaia, 5.5 for me, 5 for Jake, 5.3 average. Mark, 999. Steady. Alex Marquez, 6.5 for me, 6 for Jake, 6.3 average. Fermin Aldeguer, 6.5 for me, 5 for Jake, 5.8 average. Franco Morbidelli, 222. And Fabio Di Gianantonio, 8.5 for me, 8 for Jake, 8.3. That takes we've also got Lorenzo Savadori, 5.55. Michele Pirro, 222. And Iker Lecuona, 8.5 for me, 8 for Jake, 8.3 average. Stop it, you. That takes our teams. Aprilia Racing, 7.2 for me, 6.3 for Jake, 6.8 average. Trackhouse, 9 for me, 8.8 for Jake, 8.9 average. The Novo Ducati, 7.3 for me, 7 for Jake, 7.1 average. Gresini Racing, 5.8 for me, 5.3 for Jake, 5.5 average. And VR46, 5.3 for me, 5 for Jake, 5.1 average. Manufacturer-wise, we now have 2 confirmed, so 8 for Aprilia, 8.1 for me, 7.5 for Jake, 7.8 average. And Ducati, 6.1 for me, 5.8 for Jake, 5.9 average, because VR46 really drags that down.
Yep.
Join us next week when we'll be talking about Honda, KTM, and Yamaha, where it could get a little bit more spicy. Thanks to Jake for joining me, and thank you for the questions we had. If you want to get your questions into us, please head over to our Patreon. That's the best place you can get in touch with us, at AAT Apex, and become a member. It's completely free, and you can get involved with our From Our Perspective series, as well as race chats, and you can, of course, send us your questions. Alternatively, you can get in touch via Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter using the handle at AAT Apex, and I'm getting pretty good at responding to those messages on the daily. Finally, why not leave us a review and a comment on Spotify or wherever you like to get your podcasts. You can also find the podcast on YouTube, Amazon Music, Castbox, and Deezer. With that, we will see you next week for the remaining riders. Woo! Peace.